Welcome to Beyond the Charts, a podcast series featuring Cira Monnig, founder of Lakeside Care Clinic. Each episode shares real stories and a fresh perspective on health and wellness, all rooted in compassionate, personalized care. At Lakeside Care Clinic, it's never just about the numbers, it's about going beyond the charts. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Charts, a conversation with Cira Monnig of Lakeside Care Clinic. Hello, Cira. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing, Ken?
Awesome. So we're really excited to have this podcast series. We are going to be talking about all kinds of healthcare issues, things that are going on in the healthcare community, things that are going on at Lakeside Care Clinic, which you are the founder and owner of Lakeside Care Clinic. And so tell me the vision that you had when you started the clinic.
Well, I tell you, I've been a nurse practitioner for 10 years. And so I've fortunately had quite a bit of experience in different areas. So I gained skills as a nurse practitioner in different areas. And one thing over the last, I would say year and a half, one thing that I just kept hearing in the community, I can't get in to see my doctor. I called, I'm sick, I can't get in. They can't see me for 2 weeks. That's a huge one. And then the other one was, gosh, I go in, but I have like 5 minutes. Well, I've been on the other side of that as a provider, and I also understand where the providers are coming from and the pressure that is put on the providers and charting and, meeting all the administrative demands to see a patient. And it really was just a vicious cycle of those two things, and I just kept watching it happen. I was fortunate enough to work in a direct primary care model clinic with Dr. Jenny Powell. And so she kind of showed me that there is a different way to medicine, and it's taking insurance out of it. So over the last year, Dr. Powell and I had many conversations, and she just kept urging me, hey, the community needs you. And I was in aesthetics and wellness at the time. I just had a really heavy heart I've spent 10 years being a nurse practitioner. I've gained all these skills. I have the ability to help so many people in the community. What am I doing? Like, what is happening here? And
Where's my life going?
Where's my life going? And so I decided to open a cash-based healthcare clinic that offered walk-in clinics for the general community. It is a fee for service, as well as the primary care side as in a direct primary care model, which means that it's membership based. All are very affordable rates. But what that does is it takes insurance out of the equation so that I can spend, instead of 5 minutes with the patient, I can spend 30 minutes, an hour. I can spend a half a day if that is what is needed, because ultimately my goal and my desire is to take care of the patient and whatever that requires or is needed at that time. And so by taking the insurance out of it, I am truly able to care for patients like I have wanted to for the last 10 years, which makes me happy.
Well, and I talked to you before the show, and I think the model that you're doing is just amazing. Like, it's so refreshing to see an option for people who either they might have insurance, they might not have insurance, but to be able to get in to see you in a timely manner, so they're not sitting in an urgent care for 8 hours. They're not trying to get, 3 weeks out to get in to see you, or sometimes 3 months out. I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of doctors that are months and months behind. So, the ability to get to see someone when they need to see them and have that readily available, to me, is such a cool concept. And you were telling me, how you kind of structure what you're doing at the clinic is you have memberships, and then you obviously have walk-ins. So what's the difference between like member and walk-in?
So a walk-in clinic is meant for, a lot of people are more familiar with the terms, maybe an urgent care clinic. We have a couple of urgent care clinics in the area that just get completely bombarded. And so my walk-in clinic provides services for those people that, they wake up, or maybe the past couple of days they've been sick, have something going on and can't shake it. anything you would think about going to the urgent care for, that's what you're going to come into my walk-in clinic. You don't have to be a member. It's a set fee. It's a flat fee so that you know exactly before you even get the services, exactly how much you're paying. And then when you walk out the door, you're not going to get a bill later. It's for the one and done. So fish hooks are pretty common in this area. And so lacerations that need sutures, anything like that, that is a once a time occurrence, or a one-time occurrence, I should say. That is what your walk-in clinic is for. The primary care or the membership side is going to be more for chronic care management for those people that have, vague symptoms, been going on for 6 months to a year. It's going to require some lab workup. It's going to require maybe even some referrals. That's the person that really would be better off just doing a monthly or yearly membership for a low cost, and they're going to be taken care of and managed over time. So it's not a one and done. We may have multiple phone calls, multiple visits. When you're a member, it's unlimited visits. You don't pay for those individual visits. You don't pay for phone calls. You pay that one monthly fee, and all of that is included. And that way it just allows me more time and access to be able to really take care of the patient and whatever they have going on. Also, if they have chronic disease processes like hypertension, hyperlipidemia, or thyroid problems, anything like that, they also I'll be able to see them do labs. My labs for a basic panel of labs, like $20. It's crazy cheap.
That's amazing. I mean, I just had labs done like a month ago, and I think it was $400, and I have a full insurance program. I mean, that's crazy.
It is. And medications as well, I can provide, especially chronic medications. I can get a 90-day supply for most medications for $5 or less.
Wow.
So people think that it's meant for people who do not have insurance, but that is far from the truth. Even when you have insurance, you just said it, you paid $400 for labs. So it still benefits the general community, even with or without insurance.
And even with insurance, and you go to urgent care or the emergency room, you're paying something. I mean, none of it's free ever. None of it's included. So, to have the ability to have this choice at the lake where you can, really get personalized care. And I know you always use the term compassionate patient care. Like, what do you mean by that? What's the difference between compassionate patient care and what you get out there in the general medical field?
I think in the general medical field, I hear a lot of complaints from patients saying, oh, I was just treated like a number, or chef through like cattle, meaning that the providers don't listen to them, or maybe don't care what their problem is. And listen, I'm here to say again, I have been on the other side of that in traditional healthcare as a primary care provider, as a provider in a specialty field, in the urgent care as well. And it is very, very difficult to spend the time that you want to spend with your patient in the traditional setting because of insurance requirements, which then go down to administrators, which then go down to providers. It puts a strain on the entire system. So it's not any one person's fault. It's just this is the result of insurance, to be quite frank. And so by eliminating that, I can spend the time with my patient. And that means, hearing what they have to say. I don't hear a few words and finish their sentence because I have to move on to the next patient. I listen, and they just talk. And whatever it is that's going on with them, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, anything like that, like I'm going to have the time to sit and hear them out all the way through, further discuss their lifestyle or what's going on in their environment that could be causing whatever problem that they're there for today. Patients come in and they're expected to give the symptoms. Sometimes they don't know the symptoms. Sometimes you have to listen to them, put those pieces together, and know the questions to ask them to pull the right information. And it takes patience. It takes time. And I think when you're able to do that, you are showing them compassion, and they don't feel like they're treated like a number or being shoved through like cattle.
Yeah, and that's important. I mean, I think people forget that it's not doesn't have to be like cattle through, the stockyards. It can really be something where I can have a personalized conversation with you about what's going on with me, what's going on in my life, and you can really, I mean, the amazing services you offer they just run the gamut. So it's like, talk a little bit about all the different services you provide to your membership, because I was kind of blown away by all the different things you guys have going on over there, which is not a traditional doctor's office, right? I mean, I'm used to going to a traditional doctor's office. I go there for, to get my checkups. I go there when I have a cold, or when I have, like you said, like I get a hook in my thumb. But even then, I don't even go to them. I go to the urgent care. So, but you guys offer so many things that are, I think, just different than a normal physician's office. Go into some of those things real quickly if you could.
Yeah, I can. So one thing I wanted to do differently is not only be reactive in healthcare, but more proactive as well. So we offer some different wellness services as well. So vitamin infusions, which are, if you haven't had one, you have to come by and get one, because they are amazing, especially when that person's on the verge of getting sick or they're sick. The vitamin infusions really boost your immune system and help to shorten that course of the viruses and such. And sometimes you're just dehydrated and depleted. I mean, we do live at the lake, so dehydration comes around. So I think that by offering the vitamin infusions, you are focused more on being proactive and some things as well. I also offer aesthetics, so Botox and dermal fillers. I kind of branched into that world for a few years, and it's really fun for me, actually. So I love doing it. And I love being able to meet men and women where they are and kind of make them feel better about themselves. So we do the Botox and dermal fillers. We also offer hormone replacement, which that's probably our newest service that we have recently launched. It is amazing at how much better people feel with some hormones. That's honestly, Ken, that could be a whole podcast in itself.
I think it's going to be. We're going to have that as its own show. So I like that you teased it here, but that's the cool part about this series is we're going to get to talk about each of these as we go forward throughout the year and really dive deep into, because there's so much there. I mean, you talk about vitamin infusion and it's like, okay, well, I don't feel great and I need an infusion, or I went out drinking at the bars last night and I want to bounce back. But there's so much more behind that, and to make it part of a regime in your life. And that's the cool part, is that when you become a member of Lakeside Care Clinic, you could get on an infusion regime that really benefits you, over time. It's not just like a one and done, or I'm feeling crappy today, so I want to get one, right?
Right. Yeah, we offer them to our non-members as well, but our members get it at a significantly reduced price. So that is the huge benefit of being a member. So hormone replacements, it's probably 50% cheaper if you're a member. And that's because we don't add on any additional fees. You pay the cost of the labs, you pay the cost of the medication, your fee to me for my time, you're already paying it as a member, but not just paying that fee for the hormone appointment, but you're also getting the additional primary care side of things in addition. So to do hormone replacement, I mean, it is significantly cheaper and honestly, aesthetics and vitamin infusions as a member.
And I think we can tell everybody, I mean, I know what the price is. I can't believe it. I think it's crazy low, but what is your monthly membership fee?
So for kids 0 to 18 years old, it's $45 a month.
Come on. That's not even, you can't even do the paperwork for $45 a month.
And that's for a max of 2 kids. Anything after a family of 4, for each additional child, it's $20 a month. Extra.
Okay.
And then, so then our middle-aged adults, so anywhere from 19 to 44 is $75 a month. And then 45 and older is $95 a month. But if you want to do like an annual membership, you get 10% off of that price as well.
That's crazy. I mean, you can't even walk into a doctor's office for anything and spend less than a couple $100. And that's if you have insurance. And if you have, I mean, I just think this is such a cool idea that you've created, because it's just something for everybody that they can participate in. And I mean, to have that option, and like you said, it's not just for, I'm not feeling great today, even though you can do that. It's not just for, oh, I need a quick vitamin, or I need a quick infusion because, whatever. It's all the other things that you have at their disposal, and they're not paying every time they do something differently. They're taking advantage of being a member, and they get that member pricing on all the stuff that you have,
Right.
which is incredible.
Right. Yeah. And that's our goal. I mean, gosh, it's so expensive to be proactive in your health. And that's where a lot of people say, well, I can't eat healthy because food's so expensive. And, I can't do this because it's so expensive. So what we end up having is a society of healthcare that's more reactive and just throwing pills at people. And so that's what I don't want to do. Now, is there a place and time for medicine? Absolutely. 100% there is. If someone comes to me with really high blood pressure, and it's because they haven't been doing, they haven't been exercising like they should, they need to lose a little bit of weight, I'm going to put them on a blood pressure medicine. And while they're making those lifestyle changes, also having that discussion of, hey, we can come off of this if you make those lifestyle changes, because you can work your way down and your blood pressure will come down and you won't need the blood pressure medication anymore. So I think a huge part of really kind of where my heart is with this as well is meeting that patient where they are and whatever that realm is. Some people are perfectly fine taking medications, and that's fine. And some people want more of a holistic, natural approach. And that is wonderful too. And so I want to be able to be the provider that educates on both directions, and then let that patient make the decision for themselves on what kind of healthcare treatment they want.
And that's important, because I think, giving someone an option, and particularly giving them an option at the incredible deal you're doing that at. I mean, that's, to me, there's no one that can't afford your rates. Like that in itself is amazing. You have a lot of individuals who try to decide, do I need healthcare or don't I? It's expensive. It's a lot of money. Maybe my work doesn't offer that to me, and can I ride it out, or can I, just make it through because, I feel healthy, I'm great, nothing's wrong. Well, that works until it doesn't. And so yeah. to have that option to become a member of Lakeside Care Clinic and know that you're taken care of. I mean, it's such a relief. Like, for, one bad, day in a urgent care could cost you $1,000, right? I mean, by the time you're all done with everything, yeah. you're pretty much saying, look, for about that amount of money, you can be a member here for a year, and you can have all the attention. You can, go delve into all the different services we have, and you have a place, that's always going to be there for you.
Yes. And I'll also add that as a member, I strive to provide as much care as possible in the clinic so that they're not having to pay the extra cost. So that means, women's exams, anything that they need, I'm going to try to do it in the clinic. Now, sometimes there's times where they may have to go to a specialist or get diagnostic. But even at that, I'm going to find a way to get it as cheap as humanly possible for right. people. And so just because I think that we dump enough money into healthcare, we need to find affordable healthcare. And as crazy as it sounds, like, we can have quality, affordable healthcare. We don't have to pick one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that it's not going to take long before you're full. I mean, how many patients can you take? I mean, what's your bandwidth over there? I mean, can you expand, or what's the future look like for you? Are you looking at, I have one location, do I need two, or because I think this is just going to be a crazy ride for you guys, because it's such a great deal.
So yes, that's one thing about the direct primary care model. The provider maxes out at 600 patients. And to give you a perspective on that, a traditional healthcare provider usually carries about 2,500 to 3,000 patients on their panel.
Wow.
We max out at 600. So I will max out at 600. I won't take any patients for myself past that, simply because that is how you maintain quality for the ones you have. I have another nurse practitioner, Kat, who is amazing. She's wonderful. And so she's already working with me and helping in the urgent care side of things. We have, I actually have a handful of nurse practitioners that are ready to start working with me that can help on the urgent care side of things so that eventually we can start opening full time on the weekends. We do have a short hours on Sundays. Long term, I mean, if we do grow, I would love to see a day where the clinic that I'm at currently is just a direct primary care. It's just the primary care membership clinic. And then we move the walk-in clinic to a different location or, a different suite in that same building would be my hope and dream. But
so you got a plan. There's a plan for when this, because I just think this is the coolest thing. And I think once this gets really, the word gets out at the lake, it's going to be amazing. Because, I mean, I've been at the lake for 25 years now, and the lake used to be very seasonal. So you'd have people, as you know, in the summer months, it grows to the third largest city in Missouri. In the winter, it's not. And, but there's so many people now that are living there year round. And that is something that didn't exist 10, 15 years ago. So, I mean, you have all these people, but I would say even if you're only coming to the lake for the summer months, I would still join what you're doing because you have the option when you're down at the lake. And let's face it, people stay for a while at the lake. They'll come for a couple weeks every month. You want that option to be there when you're at the lake and you need some help or services. And so to me, it's just like, it's a no-brainer. I mean, I'm telling everybody about you because I think it's just the greatest thing going on at the lake and healthcare. Because, when you were telling me about this whole theory of yours and what you were doing, I was like, I don't even know how she's doing it for this, but I'm going to take advantage of it because it's great. But, so let's talk about how people get a hold of you, or how do they become a member? So what's the easiest way for them to do that? Is it to go on your website? Is it to call you?
So they can go on my website and get information, but the best way to become a member or to get information is to call at 573-693-1011. That is the best number. I have a clinic manager. She takes all my phone calls. She has been in the direct primary care world for, 9 years, possibly, I think 9 or 10 years. She's very, very good. She's very knowledgeable. Her name's Kirsten. She has all the information and can get someone signed up and get an establishment appointment very easily. That's probably the best way because she's going to talk you through the whole process and give you all the information that you need. Our goal is that people, they join us and even coming to the first appointment, they don't have questions. They're not leaving without questions being answered. So.
Yeah. And you guys are really centrally located at the lake too. You're right off of KK. I mean, it's literally right off of the highway, in the middle of town, in the middle of a bunch of towns. So it's really easy to get to. I mean, I think you're 3 minutes from the hospital. So if you're going to make a trip to urgent care of the hospital anyway, you can just go see you and make it a lot less, a lot less of a problem. So this series that we're doing, this podcast series, we're going to delve into some of the things we talked about today and really get in depth with all the different kinds of things that you guys do with vitamin infusion. That's going to be a whole show. We might talk about weight loss services for a whole show. That whole, I guess, I don't even know what to say. I mean, the weight loss thing it changes every day, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I forgot to mention that is another service that we offer. That is the weight loss world is, I'm going to say, very messy right now because of big pharma and FDA and all the things. And so there's a lot of unknown and actually where we're at with massive scales of weight loss services with the GLP-1s, it's kind of a first for its kind. No one's ever prescribed weight loss medications on this scale. And so the pharmaceutical companies are definitely fighting it hard. They have succeeded with tirzepatide as of right now. And so the pharmaceutical companies have offered a different option. So I will be using that different option, but only for my members. So,
another reason to become a member, because then you're going to get some extra fringe benefits that not everybody else gets.
I don't want obesity is a chronic disease, and insulin resistance is a big chronic disease. And that's, again, that's a podcast in itself too. I could go on with many different topics, but
Good thing this is going to be a series, and we have lots of time to talk about all these great.
right. And so with that being said, I don't want to not treat it, especially for my primary care patients and my members, because it is a disease process. It needs to be treated. It needs to be taken care of. So there will be some other options for my members.
Awesome. Well, I think this was a good start. So this was kind of our introduction podcast to kind of give everybody a look behind the curtain of what's going on over at Lakeside Care Clinic, some of the different things they can do. And I think it's an awesome option for anybody out there. If you have healthcare already, I'd still look at it. If you don't have healthcare, you got to do it. There's nothing that is this accessible for that amount of money that they can have peace of mind and know that they have somebody watching over them and a place to go when they really need some kind of services. So I would encourage any of our viewers to go check it out. Give them a call and make sure that you get signed up to become a member of Lakeside Care Clinic. Cira, thanks so much for today and giving us a look at what you're doing and your vision. And we so look forward to talking to you in the next couple months about and do some deep dives into some of these areas that I think people want to know more about. And you have a wealth of knowledge to talk about those. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited, very excited about it, Ken. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right, everyone. So that's it. That's the initial episode podcast for Lakeside Care Clinic. And make sure that you subscribe so that you can get all the new ones that are coming out, because we're going to make a bunch of these because we have a bunch of things to talk about with everyone, that we get a real chance to talk to an expert about all the different areas that you might be interested in. And I would encourage you to become a member of Lakeside Care Clinic as soon as you can.